in and now apparently out. I'm Matt Carlins, and this is Just Pro Wrestling News for Thursday, February 3rd, 2022. A special welcome to those of you listening on TheWrestlingRevolution.com. You can bring our updates to your website. Find out how at JustProWrestlingNews.com.
WWE.
Ringside News was first to report, and other outlets have now confirmed that Shane McMahon is gone from WWE. This reportedly stems from backstage issues surrounding the planning for the Men's Royal Rumble on Saturday night. Shane McMahon made a surprise return to WWE TV at the Rumble. He was the number 28 entrant. He managed to eliminate Kevin Owens and was one of the last men eliminated by Rumble winner Brock Lesnar. A title match is set for today's NXT UK. Meiko Satomura defends her title against Blair Davenport in a Japanese street fight. Also announced for the show, the final in the Tag Team Championship #1 Contender tournament. It's going to be Ashton Smith and Oliver Carter versus Dave Mastiff and Jack Starz. The wrestlers released by WWE on November 4th are now free of their non-compete clauses and can show up anywhere they choose. That group includes Killer Kross, Keith Lee, and the former Ember Moon. She is now using the ring name Athena, and she will challenge Thunder Rosa for Warrior Wrestling's Women's Championship on February 12th.
AEW.
We got an epic main event on last night's Dynamite. MJF beat CM Punk after nearly 40 minutes of action. Wardlow showed up toward the end of the match. He didn't attack Punk, but Wardlow distracted the referee and slipped the Dynamite Diamond ring to MJF, and MJF used the ring to knock out Punk and get the pin. It is CM Punk's first loss in AEW. The show opened with Jon Moxley beating Wheeler Yuta. After the match, Bryan Danielson showed up and pitched the idea of him and Moxley, quote, joining forces, end quote.
Listen, Mox, together, you and me, we could run this place.
That clip from last night's Dynamite. Danielson also suggested he and Moxley could take some younger AEW prospects under their wings. Danielson didn't insist on an answer last night, so we'll wait and see. MMA and combat sports star Paige Van Zant returned to AEW last night and briefly mixed it up with Brandy Rhodes. Nyla Rose pinned Ruby Soho with the Beast Bomb. Malachi Black and Brody King beat Pac and Penta El Cerro Miedo. Penta was pinned after Black sprayed mist in his face. Brian Kendrick's time in AEW ended before it could begin. He was set to face Moxley last night, but Kendrick was pulled from the card within hours of the show after a 2013 interview with Kendrick resurfaced, in which he discussed the Holocaust and the Sandy Hook school shooting. Tony Khan called the comments, quote, abhorrent and offensive, end quote. Kendrick apologized on Twitter, writing, quote, I spread the most vile comments without thinking of the damage it would cause. I will live with this regret for the rest of my life, end quote.
Impact Wrestling.
The Digital Media Championship is on the line on tonight's Impact Wrestling. Jordan Grace defends against Matt Cardona. Ring of Honor World Champion Jonathan Gresham is on tonight's Impact for a match against Steve Maclin. Another old name from ROH, Vincent, will go one-on-one against Josh Alexander. Bullet Club is back. Jay White, the Gorillas of Destiny, and Chris Bay face Jake Something, Speedball Mike Bailey, Ace Austin, and Madman Fulton. Bahinder Gujjar makes his Impact debut against John Schuyler, plus Jonah versus Crazy Steve. Before the Impact has Raj Singh versus Black Taurus. Tonight's MLW Azteca has Alex Kane, Ray Horace, and Villano 3 Jr. versus Hijo del Vikingo, Octagon Jr., and Laredo Kid. MLW announced Ricky the Dragon Steamboat will be the matchmaker for its Super Fight card in Charlotte, North Carolina on February 26th.
New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Bullet Club's Chase Owens announced on Wednesday that he has re-signed with New Japan. That is Just Pro Wrestling News for Thursday, February 3rd. Our next update comes your way tomorrow morning, so please rate, review, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. I'm Matt Carlins. Thank you for listening.
This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.